question for you. What is contentment to you? Like if I had to just randomly just show up and ask you, what's a content life? Like, how do you know you've reached it? Would you know how to answer that? That's a challenge that I just had put onto me like the last 2 days. And I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about it. But first, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and then we'll discuss, okay? But go, do that first. It's the like and then the subscribing. Contentment. Man, listen, years ago I had an elder say to me, and he quoted from Timothy, I believe it's 1 Timothy 6:6, that it is written that godliness plus contentment is great wealth. In that time that he said that to me, I didn't have the understanding. I was like, okay, I don't really. What you want me to do with that? Okay, great. I'm still worried about Jordans, sir. Okay. Yeah, wearing them. Yeah, and all the things. So like that doesn't really resonate as wisdom right now. So what is that? But something about that seed being planted, I was aware that there was some wisdom in that, but I wasn't aware of how to unpack, apply, or anything. So it's like getting a sweater for Christmas and you're 8. You like, oh, it doesn't light up though. But getting a sweater of good quality later on, you're like, Secret Santa came through. It's a different feel. So I was challenged, especially because we live in this world where more is how you spell doing great. Like, oh, you live there? Get a bigger house. Get a bigger apartment. That's what you drive. Get a better model. What year is that? Get 3 years newer. What are you wearing? Oh, what season did that come out in? How's your business doing? Good. How many clients do you have? Get more. How much is your business incur for income? More. And so you live in a world, this thing called Earth. I don't know if you're familiar, but it requires you to constantly be in the state of, while you're here, thinking over there, because it's better once you get there. And then once there becomes here, then you're now looking over there. And so there's this perpetual state of a lack of satisfaction. Because if you really believe that you'll feel better once you reach that tax bracket, guess what happens when you reach that tax bracket? You want to reach the one after it and after it. And if you think that having this particular group of clientele is cute, then like, yeah, but then what did it look like if you can get more? And so Earth spells success as M-O-R-E. But that's not how it works. I don't know if you ever read Genesis. It's this first book in this well-known book. It's the Bible. But God stopped creating at some point. He created for 6 days an array of things that we couldn't even do on our best day. And when he saw that what he created on the first day was good, he said that. First day, okay, that was good. And then the second day, he was able to say that's good. And then once he went to the third, fourth, and then he got to humans, he was like, now this is very good. Once he reached a level of satisfaction and contentment, he stopped. And then he was able to bask and enjoy in what he created. For some reason, his creation, humans, we believe that we should always be creating. We should always be producing. There should not be any stopping. You'll sleep when you're dead. And that whole rebuke that name of Jesus, that whole grind, hustle culture, keep going. You got more in you. But it's like if you look at how the creator of you created things, there was a stopping point. There was a stopping point for each day. And I always say this it's a joke to me because it's a joke on how we live. But if God was like in earth and was like, yo, I'm getting ready to produce something and make something that's going to be dope. And we asked him, and he said, I'm going to start on the first day of this month. And then on the first day we asked him what he did, and he was like, I went in and I put light bulbs in and I made sure all the lights work. And it's like, oh, okay. And then what you did? I went home. On the first day of creation, God just created light. We would have laughed at him. Now, he picked up the pace, second day, third day, and then, and then he eventually stopped and did what? Like, he was able to market himself. He was able to, what did he do when he stopped? Like, after day 6, what did he rested? We don't understand how we should be creating, when we need to stop, when we need to rest. And it was laid out for us all in Genesis. Read your Bible. That's between you and the Lord. And so I have finally gotten to a place that is like, listen, I no longer spell anything successful M-O-R-E. I'm not interested. I have reached a level, like literally when God is teaching me something, I start to see various different things from various different places, but it keeps pointing back to the same thing. So Shannon Sharp, he's like an ESPN, look him up, have a nice day. But he was saying that once he was able to make it and he got into some money, he went to his grandmother who's from rural Mississippi. And he was like, Grandma, what you want? I can get you anything. And she was like, I want a decent house. And he was like, cool. Okay, what's a decent house? And she's like, all I want is that when it rains outside, I don't want to wake up. I don't want it to rain on me. And he was like, that he said that until he was 21, he was never in a house that had a bathroom in it. He had to go outside to use the restroom. And so here I am like, oh, okay. So that was one little gem. Then I watched this other video by John Deloney. He works with Dave Ramsey. He's one of their personalities. And he said that he and his wife was in a house and he was in another section of the house. And he got a phone call and he was getting back-to-back phone calls. So he was celebratory because he was getting speaking engagements and it was going to be lucrative and all these different things. And he was filled with so much celebration that his wife came down and was like, what happened? And he was telling her like, oh, I got this speaking engagement. And he was naming off like 3 or 4 of them. And he said that he could instantly see his wife like. And so she said to him, paraphrasing, there's 2 baskets, the one where I love you and the one where we have enough. Both of them are full. And if you add anything to this particular plate, just know that it's not for the kids and I, it's for your ego. And he said he stopped and for the first time had to ask himself, when is enough enough? And so that was the second little nugget that God dropped. And then I'm watching other things and it keeps pointing back to, when will you say when? When will you say I'm content? When will you say, and I almost think because we've never been trained or that's not a popular trending word, we don't know how to recognize contentment. And can I say something? I really feel like you can find it in any space. First example, woman said, I just don't want to be rained on. We don't have those problems, okay, great? Not now. If you do, you call maintenance or you call somebody to repair it and it's done. Having lucrative, and it looks like both of those examples, now that I can hear myself saying that out loud, are on 2 extreme sides of the spectrum. You have, yikes, that was like maybe poverty, and then you have, oh my goodness, that's abundance. But both have to say, when is enough enough? What's your level of contentment? And when I actually looked up to define the word, it said a state of happiness and satisfaction. And the example, because you know how to give the sentences, was he found contentment living in the simple farm life. And I was like, I wish to goodness that it was mandatory. Once you knew yourself, once your brain was fully developed, maybe around the 28-year-old mark, that if you had to truly ask yourself, what would contentment look like for you? I think it would help a lot of decisions that are made in life. I didn't realize, for me personally, contentment It's calmness. It's privacy. It's progress. It's stability. It's refreshing and being refueled and knowing that I'm right and in alignment with God. It's knowing that what he asks me to do, that I'm actually doing it, and that he's fueling me and confirming and just speaking to me. Contentment looks like, I don't need all that busyness. Not for my particular personality, it doesn't work. That I don't need constant, like the booked and busy, whoa, would send me somewhere in a corner wanting to just turn the lights down and the volume down on thing called Earth, because like, can we come all the way down? And I realized how important it is for simple stuff. Me to be on the back porch with the sun and just in the rocking chair. Me seeing that my home is clean. Me seeing that the bills are paid. Me seeing that we have what we need and more. You see what I'm saying? Like if someone was to come to me right now and was like, I will give you whatever you want right now this second. I give you $1 million. What you going to do with it? I would literally do. Simple speaks volumes to my soul. I'm just not that person. Now, there are other grandbabies that they're like, give me the current year Bugatti. And that's how, listen, if that makes them feel good. But honestly, can I say something? Sometimes all that flashiness is trying to repair a lack in the past. Yeah, when you were the child that didn't get the name brand stuff, you became the adult that bought everything name brand. When you were the child that had a little bit of issue with money, you became the adult that was super, super focused on money. I'm talking about getting back to your manufacturer default. Like, how did God make you and what was his perfect alignment and wiring for you? And that version of you, the whole version of you, the completed version of you, what is that person's idea of contentment? It takes that long sometimes to go ahead and identify it, because you got to scrape off what life added to you to get back to your basic, your manufacturer default, and say, okay, listen, honestly, I have goals, but that doesn't make me happy. Like everybody want to be the boss until they see all the duties attached to it. Everybody wants the big house until you see how long it takes to clean it. Everybody wants the modern day whatever car until you see how much it is to maintain it and repair some things. And not that those things should scare you away if that's your true heart's desire. If you feel like, yo, I work too hard, I want to be the best. Absolutely. Have the best, but when is the best enough? Like, do you always have to, like, you got to move every 2 years, you got to have the modern car every 3 years? Like, when is it enough? When do you say, I'm good? Everything else is surplus. I'm good. I feel peaceful in my heart. I feel peaceful in my soul. I feel peaceful in my mind. There's no clutter. I feel like the people who are around me are actually for my good. I feel like I hear God. I don't feel like I'm confused in anything. Like, when can you honestly say these are the variables that give me the coordinates to this thing called contentment? And so that is a challenge that I'm going to go ahead and afford you. Because I really feel like until you identify that, you will be going down paths with no real explanation. And to me, that's the worst road trip in the world. Why are you in that career path? Why are you in that relationship? Why do you still speak to certain family members? Why are you still friends with such and such? Why do you live here? Is there anything in your soul that you ever was like, yo, I've always wanted to be? And whatever that is, I believe that a life well lived is a life that you literally identified and you went and got. Like, I'm from New York. I've always said I don't want to live there. Born and raised in New York, and knew immediately I don't want to, it was too busy. So I always felt out of place. It was rough. It was rude. It was fast. It was everything that I innately knew I didn't want. Came down to Georgia just to visit for the Olympics when I was 14 and was like, I will live here one day. If I were still currently in New York, that would be a stone that I didn't overturn and satisfy in my soul. So I have taken a stance. There will be no stones unturned. I'm turning over everything. If I had I always wanted, I will become that. I always wanted, I will get that. I will budget for it. I will do whatever, because sometimes not staying true to your contentment breeds regret. And I'm not interested. I'm not going to be telling stories to my great anything saying, you know, I really want to, I'm going to literally say to myself now and going forward, I did everything that was in my heart. Every godly thing that I felt like was a desire that could actually do some good in my life and to others, I did it. And at this point in my life, I'm proud to say that I've done it. I did not realize at this juncture in my life, I'm content. Does that mean that there's nothing else that I would want to strive for? No. There are some things. I would love to have a platform to a degree that I make a living out of helping women heal. Yeah, there are some things that I want to do on a bigger scale, but God has challenged me to be content now with the outreach that I have now, with the access that I have now, with the resources that I have now, with everything. If I can find contentment now, I will have contentment for the rest of my life. Because once you learn it, you know how to apply it everywhere else. Do you see what I'm saying? Identify contentment to you, for you, and make it like your favorite color. And color your world with it. Okay? Listen, I feel like you got what you needed. You know I do these videos every single week, right? Every Thursday. And since we are in these YouTube streets, I would like you to like and subscribe. Okay, great. Because we're here, and that's what you're supposed to do. The sharing, the commenting, all the above, okay? This was good. Welcome to Content Lives. Welcome to Content Live. Listen, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and let me go. We talk later, okay? Later.